I was actually ran over by a car when I was 2, and that started my entire journey. I remember when I was 5 or 6, I used to ask God, like, why'd you leave me on this earth all the time? And he didn't answer me. And then when I got in my teens, I used to actually have suicidal thoughts. And the questions transitioned from why'd you leave me here to why didn't you take me? Because I was like, I hated it. I hated it on this earth. And I remember when I was 24 years old, that's when the Lord finally answered why he left me here. He said, I protected you from death, and now I'm putting something in your hand to protect other people from death. And the vision that came outside of myself is like having a vision for other people. The suicidal thoughts were completely gone. Once I saw the people that needed to have eternal life and not be eternally separated from God, once I got that vision, I stopped thinking about myself and caring about myself.
Wow.
That's how I came to the Lord, because of that.
Well, I think the biggest impact in my life actually were my parents, my mom and my dad. And the reason is because both of them, mom was in 2 Nazi concentration camps. My dad was in a Russian concentration camp, shipped into Germany. And they survived by being shipped into Germany, worked on farms. And after that, they took 13 attempts to come to the United States of America, 5 attempts to come to Australia. The end result was they couldn't make it because they constantly kept going on the German quota. At that time, so many people could come to the country legally, obviously. And so they tried with the Lithuanian quota, where my dad came from. They were number 1 on the list. Came to the United States, and the moment that I remember the most, and most people don't believe my story, but I don't remember my childhood. I don't remember anything about it, but it was obviously not very good because I've got repressed memory. But the moment that I remember the most was after 3 days being on board a Navy ship coming from Germany into the United States. This was the first time I saw my dad and my mom crying at the same time. And this is the part most people won't believe, but the reason they were crying right behind them was the Statue of Liberty. And that was the beginning of my life.
I remember being at a party, and then when I lost completely conscience, and I was just like I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. And especially when, man, this is hard. This is hard. Especially when my parents separated, I even told myself, I was like, life is just getting difficult. What is the point of even doing good? What is the point of even trying to achieve my goal? What is the point of even trying to make friends at this point? That wasn't until I finally met my girlfriend, who is my wife now, which is like, no, thank God, where she allowed me to step into church, and that's when I found Christ. I found Christ, because before I knew of Jesus, right? But now I am blessed to say that I know him personally now, which is the best thing that I can ever ask for, the best thing that anyone can ask for at this point.
2 years ago, I lost my mom from cancer, and that is the reason why I am here. I found God and Jesus. I had to get to know who she was going to be with. And grief has been a process. It's not linear. It's not, I told somebody, I was like, I'd rather get my heart broken 1,000,000 times before grieving a parent, especially at a young age. I'm 26. But what I've realized is there's never going to be enough time with your loved ones. And I think my grief and what I've processed has driven me to show up for myself every day. And it has given me a purpose to continue on. Because for a while there, I thought, how am I going to live in a world without my mom? And it was hard, and it is hard. I'm still grieving. And just this last July, I lost my father. And that brought up a lot of grief that I haven't processed. And I think for a while I was looking for just love, or just to not feel lonely, just to anyone to not make me feel the grief, because like when I feel it by myself, it's heavy and it's so overwhelming. But I found I'm never alone because Jesus is always right there with me.
So when you say that you turned to Jesus, what made you do it? What made you turn to Jesus?
I think I was born and raised religious Christian, but I think it was more based on my mom like pursuing it, and I saw my mom, and I think this time around I was like, okay, let me pursue it, because I believe there is more than just us here, and God has shown up in my life in more ways than I can count, and he's always been there even when I try to seek elsewhere or get distracted or something comes in. He's always continues to be there.
Something that I thought I would never be able to get through is telling my mother that I know that I was adopted. I carried that with me for over 20 years.
How did you get through that?
I prayed a lot, man. I had a lot of therapy. I prayed a lot. I spent some time with myself, spent some time with my therapist, and I realized that I needed to get some closure. I always thought that if I tell her, it'll break her heart and it will ruin our family, but it was all stories that I created in my head.
But you got through it.
Say it again?
You got through it.
I got through it, man, and honestly, once I got through it, I realized it wasn't that bad at all. The stories that we create in our mind, these possibilities of how it's gonna turn out, it's all right here. It's all fear, doubt, confusion, and we make it worse than it really is.